We are yet to make a splash in a major domestic competition so far at Wanderers, but today, that could change. We are in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and to mark the occasion, I thought I'd get myself a can of Carabao. I went to 3 shops, none of them had Carabao, so I got a monster. Hope that's not an omen for today's episode. Yes, folks, how is it going? And a warm welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It's Wanderers Wednesday. I've now coined that, and it means it's going to be a good day today, surely. Manchester United are our opposition. 2 games coming your way today, both against United. And, of course, it is the January transfer window too. Now, saying all of that, I haven't actually spent any money so far. Our transfer budget sits at £36 million a week into the transfer window being open. In some other news, I was able to up the board expectations for the year. We're no longer over our wage budget. We've got about £30,000 to spend if we want to. That's not to say I'm not signing anyone at the moment. In fact, I'm eyeing up another Swede to join our team. I feel like our team is an English team with some Irish internationals and just a weird contingent of Swedes who also have English nationality. The man I'm looking to add to my collection is Joachim Anderson. That's probably not how you say his name. He's probably not South American or Spanish, is he? But Joachim, we'll just go with it. Look at him, 23 years old, 7 caps for Sweden. And he's a body in the final third. Yeah, we've had issues last episode, as you saw, at striker. I wanted to get in another striker. We're trying to sign him from Manchester United for £1.2 million. You know what? For that price, he could be absolutely awful. I don't think it's a waste of money. And if you are thinking, Jack, is that you just playing mind games? Honestly, no, it's not. I just feel like when it comes to strikers this year, we've been one emergency backup short. We've had a few injuries in the striking position, of course. Will Lancashire this year just hasn't really got going due to injury, and it's actually affected his physicals just a tad. So yeah, Anderson, I think, could be useful to have around. And I suppose another reason for that is the lack of goals we've scored as of late. Of course, last episode, we beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. We also had 2 league games where, well, to be fair, we scored 4 against Man City, but since then, we've been struggling for goals, really. And I suppose that is typified by this game against Newcastle United. 0-0 in this game. Ajaria got man of the match, which was good to see. Ajaria, for a right-back, has really high average ratings for a man who doesn't really seem to get that many goals or assists, at least compared to Wallace over on the left-hand side. You might remember at the start of the year, Wallace had something stupid like 5 assists in 6 games. He's got 1 assist in the next 13 games in the league. And that does make me a bit sad. But yes, we struggled for creativity against Newcastle, 0-0 there, and I suppose that issue hasn't really left us. But defensively, we've looked good. We kept a clean sheet against Southampton, Rashid Mohammed with a goal. Unfortunately, our only defeat in our recent run of games came against a team we are very much battling against. 2-1 defeat against Brighton. João Pedro still tearing it up for them as their club captain. He grabbed 2 goals against us in this one. And if we just look at the current league table, you can see Brighton currently only 5 points behind us, although they have played a game more. That would have been a really great game to win. Shame that we didn't win it. But that was all forgotten as we got this result here. A win against Manchester United in the league just over a week ago. Adam May, remember the left back we signed at the end of the transfer specials in the summer? Yeah, he's not played that much a left back. Started him in this game. He got 2 assists to both very similar goals, really. Putting the ball in, and Nicky Meredith, who's just a giant of a man, was there at the back post on 2 occasions to grab 2 goals and take his tally for the season to 11. And good news as well, we did manage to dispatch of Championship West Ham away from home. We were playing in the FA Cup. I played a rotator team in this one. It was not as comfortable as the scoreline suggests, in spite of the fact we had a massive XG. They did have chances to win this one. But all in all, when you look at the Premier League table at the halfway point in the year, we find ourselves in a nice, comfortable 6th place. There's a bit of a gap to the teams behind us. A couple of teams behind us as well have played more games than us. Newcastle and Liverpool really struggling this year. Chelsea, to be honest, not faring all that much better. We have the 4th best goal difference in the league, and we're only 4 points away from Man City in 4th, who have played a game more, and we beat last episode. Now, as I already mentioned, I have adjusted the board expectations at the halfway mark in the season to help me have a bit more wage budget, because we were technically over the wage budget. The new aim for this year is a top half finish. We managed that last year. We're in a much better position as well to achieve that this year too. In terms of the players we have to thank for our league position, well, it's the attackers, if we're being honest. Nicky Meredith, 12 goals to his name. Sheldon as well, 19 goal contributions in 20 league games, of which only 19 of them starts. The 22-year-old has looked really good. Yet to be called back up for the English national team. Hopefully he gets to play for them sooner rather than later. As say that, am I paying him an international appearance bonus? I'm not. I was thinking for a moment, did I give him a big international bonus? Because if I did, I don't want him playing for England. But you know what? He can play for England. It's fine. In terms of overall average ratings, Rudy Shirtliff is up there. Of course, he has been a bit of a Carabao Cup merchant. Although when we've called upon him in league games, he has been quite useful. He's not the most technically gifted player. In terms of mentals, he has those of the potato, except from the fact he is determined. A bit like Mr. Potato Head in the Toy Story movies. But his physicals, especially that acceleration and pace, when we sub him on late on in games against tiring defences, it definitely gives him an edge. I mentioned the fact Ajari has done well. His average rating sits at 7.33. And for all Lancashire's injuries, his actual rating when he has been fit is quite good. You can see here, though, twisted ankle twice in a row. 6 weeks missed of football with that. Now out with a groin strain as well for another 2+ weeks. It's been a bit of a miserable second season for Will. Now, as I've already mentioned, the transfer window is open. It's January. We have £36 million to spend. But if I'm being honest, there's not all that many inspiring signing options out there. I mean, I could go for someone like Matt Riley if I wanted to, but in all honesty, I'm pretty happy with the overall balance of the team. I suppose the only man I did about maybe was Nwaneri here, who obviously in real life is tearing it up. I feel like in Football Manager, he is a very hit-and-miss player. In terms of his actual ability, he's not a bad player, but he would require all of my transfer budget. His wage demands are probably going to make him the highest earner at the club. Given he hates important matches, he's injury-prone, and goal-scoring hasn't exactly been the issue this year. Just depth in strike has been a problem. He doesn't feel like a wise use of funds. Beyond that, there's just not that many options out there still. I do kind of wish that in the same way your board expectations are quite kind of interchangeable through the year. If you do well, your board will offer you the opportunity to up things. I do feel like through the actual league season, stuff like reputation should be a bit more dynamic in Football Manager. Of course, just as a refresher, we have the worst reputation in the Premier League, which impacts our ability to bring in players. And I do feel like if we were in real life right now and it was January time, Wanderers are in 6th with a little bit of a point cushion, there'd perhaps be more teams interested in joining us. Just a little thing the Football Manager I feel like doesn't do that well. Maybe I'm just saying that because it's happening to me now, but I don't know. I feel I understand the reputation slowly growing as it has while we've been here, but when you're having a season like this, teams and players, they want to get involved and join you. Saying all of that, if we now crash out the Carabao Cup today, maybe teams won't want to join me. Yes, we have got 2 games here, the first of which is at home against Manchester United. Midweek, there is a game against Swansea City. We already humiliated them at the start of this season in an episode. I'm not going to do it twice to them in one season. Now, as I already mentioned, this is our first major competition semi-final. We've not really gone on a massive cup run yet. We've not played, I don't think, in Wembley in a significant cup final. We've had a playoff final, and I guess we had the EFL trophy, but that's like for League One clubs. This is our first time on the big stage. Of course, over 2 legs. I'm hoping that's going to work in our favour. In terms of the team, well, Lancashire's out injured. I did rotate things a little bit lately. If I just put in my best 11 preset, it brings Meredith in and puts Lancashire wide. I'm going to take off Lancashire. Is he fit enough to play? No, he failed his fitness test. Right, Lancashire, off you come. Shirtliff, he's already got 3 goals in the Carabao Cup. This man is Mr. Carabao. All I'm saying is if he scores in this competition again, he should get a brand deal. In terms of the rest of the team, nothing too crazy going on here. I have still constantly, by the way, been changing Flood's role at defensive mid. I've tried Regista, deep line playmaker, roaming playmaker. I can't decide which I like, so I just kind of spin a wheel at this point. I'm trying to get a good tune out of him. It's just not happened. I mean, I don't think it's his fault either. I think it's just Football Manager things, but yeah. Bit disappointing for Carl this year. No matter what context, a game against Manchester United is just never easy in Football Manager. As much as, you know, you might think it's easy in real life. No, in Football Manager, they always just seem to be quite good. We're going to try and dispatch them here. Of course, we're lining up with our 3-striker system. The last couple of years, I've tried the more conservative approach. I feel like we're now at a level with our squad where we can just try and take the game to teams. Going to hope that works out in our favour here. Now, I have been making this consistent change, which is if I come up against a 3-man midfield like Manchester United are playing here, I change some team instructions immediately. I ask the players to play a little wider, and instead of focusing the play through the middle like we sometimes do, we instead now look to focus the play in that wider space. We want to get the wing-backs on the overlap, the pressing forward and complete forward drifting wide as well. Just try and exploit that space in the middle rather than trying to win a midfield battle, which I don't feel like we're ever realistically going to win. Okay, well, this is over 2 legs. There's no away goals as far as I'm aware. I really feel like I should check the rules. The issue with competitions in real life is the rules constantly change year to year, like FA Cup replays being scrapped, you know, away goals in the Champions League changing. I can't always remember them all. Maybe that's just me getting old. I'll tell you what, this has not been a classic. We've played half an hour here. Nothing has happened. Literally nothing. Although, Flood is on a 7.1 rating, so at least he's playing well. Maybe we'll just stick with Deep Line Playmaker. Is this really what's going to happen here, Football Manager? I've got another game and a half to play against United. It cannot get worse than this. I'm far from pleased. Secretly, deep down inside, actually not all that bad. They've had more of the ball, but not created a great deal. We've not really created enough either. Going to change up some instructions here and ask our players to look to pass the ball into space. I'm also going to ask Ajaria to look for those overlaps a little bit more. That'll also encourage Hatswell as the Segundo Volante to hold on to the ball to allow that overlap to happen. Anyway, Ugarte from United is going to have a free kick opportunity. He gives it short to Alex Scott, and he bangs it into the top corner and makes it 1-0. And I just feel sad. Does this happen if I'd found a can of Carabao before I hit record? Maybe not. Anson... yeah, not his greatest moment, I'll be honest. I mean, it's a great finish. I can't really be mad at him, can I? Anyway, we've got to try and bounce back. I was going to make some changes at the hour mark, which has become a customary. But you know what? Maybe the players are going to give me some food for thought here as Hatswell cuts inside, lays it to Ajaria. Tammy scores, and that little change in instructions to look for the overlap on the right, I look like a genius. Of course, we'll never actually know what the direct influence and effect of that change was, because that's how Football Manager works. I'm going to claim that I've come up with this idea. Hatswell lingers on the ball, Ajaria on the overlap, tucks it in at the near post. I am still going to make some subs. Rashid Mohammed was coming into this game struggling for fitness. You know what? Shirtlift, on you come, and I just want you to run quick. Elsewhere, Bernard Brennan is going to come in for Nicky Meredith. I do feel like Bernard here has some really good long-term potential for us. The man highlighted in green is like the baby evolved pre-evolution of Meredith. If they were Pokemon, BB will one day become NM. Right now, obviously, there is a bit of a gap in quality, but in a game like this, where Nicky isn't performing, Bernard is our best option. Prior to his assist there, Hatswell wasn't exactly having the best of games. What other changes do I want to make here? Do I need to make other changes? You know what? I'm just going to make 2 for now. We've just scored. Let's not change things too much. I've shouted some words of encouragement at the players. There's green, happy, smiley faces across the board along the bottom. 20 minutes left here. More changes needed. Hatswell, still struggling in this game. Going to take him off and bring in Joe McHugh, who I'm becoming more and more of a fan of. He is just constantly improving, it feels like. And Arian B has not been at his best at centre-back. I'm going to bring in Rolk, swap him with Henderson. Of course, Henderson, the younger centre-back who we signed this year, has actually been improving a lot. Has a little bit better left-footed ability. He's going to move over onto that left-hand side. Okay, this has been a cagey game, really. I'd love to take a lead to Old Trafford, which is why I'm kind of making changes. I'm thinking about changing things up to try and have something materialise. There is 7 minutes left. We've had a lot more of the opportunities in this game and the chances, but it just hasn't quite worked out. I'm going to ask the players to go more direct, and in transition, I want us to try and get it to the flanks that little bit quicker. 5 minutes remaining. It might be dumb. I'm going very attacking. We are going for this game, and we're going to try and make something happen. 5 minutes of added time are going to come, and I'll tell you what, they are going to go. It finishes here in the first leg, 1-1. A wonder goal by Alex Scott broke the goal scoring. Ajaria with a tidy finish gets player of the match again, our captain. Bit of a disappointing result. There is definitely a mountain to climb going into the second leg. Just before we get to the second leg, kind of forgot to mention it, we have had our youth candidate stuff come through. There might be some good centre mids. Obviously, last year's intake was one of the worst. I'm hoping that David is going to deliver a little better this time around. Okay, a trip to Old Trafford awaits us. Sorry, Swansea, you are small fry. We're going to do that next game, and then after that, we will just talk a little bit more about the squad, where I might still look to improve things in January, so don't go anywhere. So sadly, we didn't beat Swansea quite as emphatically as last time, but 3-0. Not a bad little result midweek. I chose to rotate the team just a little, and for a second game where I've played him in recent memory, Adam May putting in another good performance at left back. If I was Gavin Wallace, I'd be getting a little bit worried all of a sudden. And well, maybe he should be worried because it's a week later, we're playing Manchester United, and I have got him down in that left-back position. In terms of the rest of the team, I'm sticking with what we know. Lancashire has now passed a fitness test, but with that lack of match sharpness, going to have him on off the bench. Rashid Mohammed will be starting. Elsewhere, Anderson has now joined us from Manchester United. That fee of £1.2 million, I feel like just represents good value for money for a player who's probably just going to be an ultimate squad option for us. If he gets a little bit quicker, I don't know, maybe he could be useful down the line. At 23, though, probably isn't going to improve all that much. We'll keep an eye on his development. If nothing else, I'm looking at that valuation thinking, resale value could be nice. But of course, instead of thinking about hypotheticals for in a number of seasons' time, I need to think about the here and now. It's the second leg of this semi-final. In terms of the team, it is pretty much full strength. Look at the players, look at the squad. I've got faith in them. Sheldon lately had been struggling for form. A great performance against Swansea with a goal and an assist. Hopefully that's going to kickstart the second half of the season for him. Okay, into this game we go. Going to tell all the players that I trust them. They are going to try and make a difference here. Away against Manchester United. Not an easy game, but I don't necessarily view this as an unwinnable one. I think I'm going to make the same tactical tweaks we made at the start of the previous game. I feel like the ones especially we made mid-game as well worked out quite nicely. In possession wider, look for the overlap, focus the play in the wide areas, and look to get it into the space. There is going to be some gaps, I think, when their wing-backs get forward and when their wider players don't track back. That's a space we can look to exploit. But of course, as much as I want to worry about going forward, defensively, we've got to be good today, especially from set pieces. We clear this initial corner, but Robert cuts inside, shoots, Anson makes a great save. There were no highlights, were there, in the first half of the last game? Already, less than 3 minutes into this one, it's all action early. Henderson heads this away. Holmes is going to have, well, the ball under a hammer. He lays it to Mainu in a wide area, and Kobe is dispossessed by Meredith, albeit unfairly. Corner, Holmes to whip it into the back post. Another set piece. It's saved by Anson. I think that was Delict with the near post header. We've managed to get it away, but it's not completely away from danger yet. This is not a good start to this game. What are we doing here? Anson has the ball in his hands. I need to, one sec, encourage the players. Come on, lads, settle down. Get those green, happy, smiley faces. Nervy opening moments, but maybe now a chance for us to make something happen from a set piece of our own. It's going to be made to take it. Near post, Dorrington heads it. Keeper saves it. Rebound against the post. And it's scrambled away from danger. We've had 58% of the ball here at Old Trafford. Look at the average positions. United struggling to play the ball out from the back. We are harassing them. We're causing them issues, but they have been having a few of these set pieces, and they've got another one here. It's Holmes, the number 6, over it. He hits his free kick. Anson rooted to the spot. Shot did go over, though. Halfway through this first half, match momentum largely in our favour. That feels kind of positive, although with 10 minutes left, the deadlock has not been broken. It's still 0-0, but that could change rather quickly. Lloyd Weston at left back, whips it back post. Roberts is there. His header just the wrong side of the post. Been a very, very even game. I want to say it's been a cagey game, but to be fair, it hasn't really. There's been chances either way, and maybe now a chance of our own here. Ball whipped back post, headed looping up into the air. Flood to Dorrington. Nice play. Can we keep this alive? Henderson, the centre-back, to May. Ajaria at right back, looking for the overlap. Options in the middle for him. He whips it back post. Meredith is there. Nicky Meredith. The man knows how to jump. And that is not the first time this year he's scored against United. When we beat them in the league, he was the man who popped up with 2 goals earlier in the month. And I'll tell you what, in this cup competition, he's popped up with another. Ajaria with a delicious ball in that header right into the bottom corner. And you know what? Maybe that makes my team talk a teeny tiny bit easier at half-time. I'm happy with the performance. Keep it up. Green, happy, smiley faces across the board is great to see. Although I have to suspect there's going to be more chances in this second half. United are going to want to go for this game. They're not going to go for it without swinging. Holmes, edge of the box, shot. Sam Blissett bangs it into the top corner and makes it 1-1. Within 2 minutes. I mean, in retrospect, why did I tell the players I was happy at half-time? I've invited on complacency. Flood lost the ball in a battle there. Holmes lays it to the edge of the box. Blissett shoots and finds the top corner. I don't recognise Blissett. I actually think United are playing a rotated team here slightly. I mean, this is the man who's just scored against me. He's just not good, is he? Holmes is the other player who's having a good game. To be fair, he is a much better player, isn't he? In terms of in the final third, they've got Vink out on one wing. Yeah, he's good. And Hoyland up front is not bad either. You know what? It's semi-rotated. It's a bit annoying that 2 of the better performers aren't exactly their stars. Okay, having conceded that goal at the start of the second half, we have stabilised things just a little bit. We're going to have a set piece, I think, here at the edge of the box, or maybe a corner to make something of. In fact, it's a free kick in the corner. Made to Sheldon. Oh my word, he hit the side netting there. I thought it was in for just a moment. Okay, Rashid Mohammed off. Will Lancashire, come on down. Elsewhere, Mick Hugh has been a game winner for us on occasion. I'm going to bring him and Gallagher into the midfield for some fresh legs. Besides that, I'm going to hold on to the rest of our changes for now. I feel like we're not getting outclassed here. There is only half an hour left of this game. And if you were wondering, I did check it prior to this game. It is no away goals. If the scores are level, we go to extra time and penalties to decide a winner on tonight's game, if we need to do that. There's 10 minutes left of regular time here. I'm going to encourage the players, try and get some green, happy, smiley faces. There's 4 minutes left. We need more fresh legs. Adam May at left back has run his race. He is looking exhausted. Elsewhere, Ajari is tired as well. Going to bring in more fresh legs in the wide area. Niall Townsend nearly mastered now the right wing-back position. Not the best defensive player. Going forward, though, a real talent. And, of course, alongside him on the other wing, another product of our academy in Wallace. 2 pacey players coming on against a tiring defence. Maybe they can make a difference for us. 4 minutes of added time. Are we going to 30 minutes of extra time? You bet your bottom dollar we are. We are, well, in a battle here, aren't we? It is 1-1 extra time. Going to tell the players I'm far from happy. If I'm not mistaken now, yeah, I do get one more sub that I can make. Sheldon's been poor today. You know what, Brennan? I'm going to bring you in, mate. As a pressing forward, I feel like he can definitely do a job. Might be controversial to take off Sheldon, our best penalty taker, but ultimately, I want to try and win this game in 25 minutes. I don't want it to go to a lottery. Let's see if the subs can have an impact. Niall Townsend to McHugh, Gallagher, Townsend. Options in the middle, back post it goes. Brennan was under it. It's punched away. Hoyland now looking to get the ball out and, well, I was going to say launch a counter, but United are not committing any players to the attack here. They are sat back, unwilling to move, and it's down to us to break them down. The ball's whipped in, it's cleared away, but Townsend is going to keep this alive. McHugh at the edge of the box, got us a winner against City, gives it to Townsend, and oh my word, it's in the back of the net. It's an own goal off the goalie. Sometimes in football, you need a little bit of luck, don't you? Townsend to McHugh. What happened here? Townsend shoots, it deflects, it hits the post, it hits the keeper on the back and goes in. You know what? If that was against me, I'd be complaining right now. I'm just going to enjoy the fact it's gone in my favour. We're going to continue to put on the front foot here. I want to try and push home our advantage. We have taken the game to them, and, well, we continue to do so as Wallace cuts inside, finds Townsend, and his shot was parried wide. Wallace now over the corner, still knocking on the door, still looking for another. United going to deal with that, and we are down to 15 minutes left here once these 3 minutes have been played, which they've not been played yet. There is a minute left of this first half of extra time. Ball played to Kobe Mino in the middle. Blissett, the goal scorer for them, with the ball, lays it back. Is that Teo Hernandez for them at left back? I assume that's the Teo that we see there. He's bringing the ball forward. He gives it to Eldridge. In behind, squares it. Dorrington doesn't really clear it away. Blissett shoots. It hits the post. And we clear it away from danger. Everything is fine. Okay, we're into the second half of extra time here. We are just trying to see this game out. I'm going to praise the players, trying to get a bit of a positive reaction, reinvigorate some legs. There's 4 minutes left. Are we going to get a historic win away against Man United at Old Trafford to go to the Carabao Cup semi-final, to the final? You bet your bottom dollar we are. What a result that is. Shout out to Neil Merritt for the own goal. Thank you, mate. I'm bullying a child here, I've just realised. Not sure who we're due to play in the final. I was trying not to get too carried away. We are 1 game away from a door into European football, but who are we playing? We don't know yet. Apparently, Ruben Amorim was spotted at Old Trafford. In this universe, never became United manager. He's currently England manager. Apparently, he was looking at Benjamin White and Weston for them, then Hatswell Ajaria, Sheldon Dorrington, and Nicky Meredith for us. I bet he gets to come to loads of our games with all the English players, I realise. Now, in the other semi-final, Leeds lost the first leg against Tottenham. Can they turn it around? I assume that they play tomorrow or something? They're playing on the 5th of February. Well, unsurprisingly, I'm not going to play to the 5th of February right now. I don't know why they're playing that game so late, but they are. I suppose it has something to do with the fact that Leeds are in the Championship, but they're also playing in the Europa League this year, and their fixture congestion is absolutely mental. In fact, they're down in 7th in the Championship, probably because they're trying to juggle Europa League football as well, where they're currently in 5th. They're having a mad season, aren't they? Anyway, to wrap things up today, as I already mentioned, I do want to do just a little bit of a January kind of review of where we're at squad-wise. And to be honest, as tempting as it is to go out there and spend all this money we've got in transfer budget and wage budget, I'm kind of happy with the overall balance of the team right now. We have a decently sized squad that I'm happy to rotate and use. I suppose that's indicated by just how many players have played a ton of games for us. In terms of players not playing games for us, Jobe Bellingham is probably the man who's most likely to move on this year. We signed him, of course, on a free transfer. Barely played him last year. He's not featured in the league this year. It's just a case of trying to find him a move. Might even have to just revert to loaning him out. The other man who's really struggled for minutes this year, or the players, that have struggled for minutes this year are James McConnell, who at right back has just found himself out the team with the emergence of Niall Townsend, and then also Gabadebo, who I'm less concerned about really because he is just the ultimate squad utility man. We've been fortunate to not have injuries in the defence and wing-back areas, especially in those wing-back areas. If we got injuries, this would be a man who would suddenly play a lot more minutes. If I just plug in what I think is our best 11 into the starting 11 right now and kind of review the squad, in terms of the weak links, I feel like Arian B is perhaps the man most likely to be replaced, but truthfully, to find a really top-tier left-footed centre-back, who obviously is English, probably isn't going to be the simplest task in the world. Centre-back has been an issue, obviously, for the last few years. I do feel like in Dorrington and Henderson now, we have two longer-term centre-back options who are probably good enough to feature like in a Champions League squad. With the English restrictions, if I can't find other centre-backs, there is part of me wondering if maybe I have to go back to a more conventional back four in the coming years. That might just help us to exert our dominance as well. Whilst we have a low reputation and perhaps we go into more games as underdogs than we don't, I like this system. I do wonder with all the talent we've got, maybe that has to change in the coming years. Obviously, right now, the board expectation is a Premier League top par finish. With the result we got against Swansea, we continue to sit rather comfortably in the top 6. Going to hope that we can keep that kind of run going. In terms of our upcoming league games, we've actually got a nice run of fairly winnable games. Obviously, Tottenham and Liverpool next month are kind of looming. Next episode, we will be doing the EFL Cup final. Speaking of which, I realise that's probably going to move the Liverpool game, isn't it? Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. We will be back next time for the Carabao Cup final. Our first major, it's not the FA Cup, but it's a significant competition. If we win it, we get European football. We are going to be trying to get a win. I hope you guys are ready for it tomorrow. If you have enjoyed today's episode, as always, do go down below, leave a like. We'll be back tomorrow for more Park to Prem action. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm out.